Good morning, good morning. Buenos dias, buongiorno. Bonjour. Buenos dias. I want to thank you, Ben, so much. You know, he just finished by saying that this is about his vision. And I think what you're going to see today with the state of the county is that that's not what I'm interested in at all doing as the chair of the Board of Supervisors. I'm not interested in my vision. I'm interested in what Sonoma County's vision is, right? And if I look across this room, what I see is an amazing plethora of resources, both human, organizational, and otherwise, that can do what we need to do in this community to own our future. It's kind of crazy. You think about this. Look at all these people in this room. First of all, I want to ask my colleagues to raise their hands. Shirley Zane, thank you for your leadership last year. Raise your hand. David Rabbit, Linda Hopkins, Susan Gorin, raise your hands. Hold your hands up. Please, hold your hands up. These guys, we are a dysfunctional, amazing family. Council members, raise your hands. If you're a mayor or a council member, raise your hands. Thank you for what you do. This is our year where we fight in the face of saying that the county and the cities don't work well together. All this crap that goes on. It's time for us to get beyond it. It's time for us to get back to a we. Tribal leaders, I look over, I have my good friend Reno Franklin, chair of the Kashaya Band of Pomo Indians. Thank you for being here. All those in the business sector, raise your hands. Nonprofit sector, raise your hands. Todos que quieren una comunidad bien integrada, levanta la mano. Hold your hands up for 1 second, everybody in this room, and look around at those around you. Look at those people around you. Give them a high five. The reason I say this is because you know what? Those that are in this room and those people in the community, it's all we've got. That's all we've got. And we got this. We are the ones who have to confront here in Sonoma County and throughout our state, our nation, everywhere, generational shift like we haven't seen in a long time. Climate change, the age of acceleration, digital acceleration and reviews going faster than we ever thought imaginable, economic inequality, and yes, natural disaster, right? Natural disaster. October 8th taught us a lot. 110,000 acres of our beautiful Sonoma County, this place we call home, this place that we love to live, work, and play, burnt down. 7,000 structures, 5,000 homes, 10,000s of people still displaced, 100,000 plus displaced during those fires. 24 members of our community are no longer with us. There's a lot of pain in our community right now. As much as we have excitement about the future and we love to be innovative and grandiose in how we be leaders and the point of the spear on what's coming in the future, there's a lot of pain in our community. I was with a guy the other day, corner of Brighton Court in Larkfield, Wickiup, Earl, who left 4 messages on my phone, right? First one said, God, thank you for responding to my call. I'm really hoping we can get this done. Second one said, thank you for connecting me with the Army Corps and the contractors. We're seeing progress. Third one said, I haven't heard anything. F you, F everybody, I'm out of here. Fourth one said, thank you for making the call back. They called me today, it's happening. Fifth one said, thank you for stopping by my lot when they were clearing it and having a beer with me at 6 p.m. My family thanks you. I don't say that because of anything of me. I say it because people are going through hell right now. They're busier than they've ever been. They're more stressed than they've ever been. Price gouging is going on. Insurance problems here and there. I mean, it is an intense time. And these people who are dealing with all this stress don't have homes. It is a crazy time. We have 2 bookends that we need to stay towards. right? Number one is don't fail these people. Tens of thousands of people. Number two, own the future. Make sure that we're ready next year for the next fire that comes. So we're not like what happened as we look over the hill in Lake County, where 3 successive years of dominant fires. Make sure we own the future so that if the floods come on the lower river next year, we're ready. Make sure that we're ready with the best of technology, alerts, going out to people, letting them know what's going on. Make sure we get back to basics, grazing our landscape, controlled burning, seeing fire not as disaster, but as a resource, as an ecology, as a part of what we live with. We fight that and it owns us. We work with it, we own it. Today's State of the County is not going to be about me and my vision, it's going to be about we. You're going to hear from an amazing cross-section of folks. I have the mayor of Santa Rosa, who's going to be the first of those. We have about 4 individuals who are going to come on after that, show us the vast diversity of what we have, where we were, where we're going, what are our challenges. The last thing I want to leave you with before I introduce the mayor, though, is when we raised our hands and we said, this is all we've got to confront all of these issues. At the same time, I look back to this poem that somebody sent me from June Jordan, and it's called, We Are the Ones We've Been Waiting For. I say that not as a way to stand before you and try to inspire you today. Like as if I have some magical power, or any of us do as council members, leaders, to tap you and give you some kind of a magic to set you afire, pun intended. I don't sit here before you to inspire you. I ask to have us create the kind of partnership and collective impact that we need to do to uncap each other and to unleash what we can do here in Sonoma County. And the reason I say that is because before these fires, our need was collective impact. And that is not kumbaya, let's get together and have more talks, make more combined plans. That is an economic imperative of aligning resources, having similar agendas, having projected aim, measuring your progress, getting it done, right? That was a need on October 8th. It is an imperative now. It is an imperative. We have been knocked off of our first world problems. We got big stuff coming down the pipeline, and we need to use the combined brain trust and resources in this room to get it done. Because as I'm going to bed last night, and I'm thinking about staying up late to try and write a perfect speech, then I kind of throw it aside. My kids wake up, they're like, Daddy, please lay in my bed for 5 more minutes. I'm like, no, come on, please. I'm like, get your head straight, Jimmy, right? I go down and I lay with Jacob and Opal, and then Elizabeth comes in, and it's just magic. And I refuse to subscribe those kids to a pessimistic future. That is crap. I'm tired of the doomsday scenarios and the apocalyptic visions. We all are, as supervisors. That's why we work our butts off. That's why you do what you do. But in Sonoma County, we have a great thing, an amazing innovation, an amazing sense of place, an amazing ability to take what is already an example from the state and use that fire that burned us to forge resolve. And collective impact is the way that we need to do it. We don't have to agree on everything. It doesn't have to be full competition or full cooperation. Co-opetition is okay for now, okay? So I look to you not just to have 600 people, leaders, come here and be glossy-eyed bystanders and be listening and hearing things, but we're going to go through an amazing plethora of community leaders. Then we're going to go into breakouts. They're only an hour. We're not going to figure out the world, but don't go into these breakouts and talk about problems. Put your resources on the table. Talk to somebody. Do something. Use the brain capacity in this to figure out what you can leave here from with 1, 2, or 3 follow-on items. We're going to track to the end of the year to the California Economic Summit that week of November 15th and 16th. I want us to try and make this our version of South by Southwest. our version of owning the future. I need you to do that. I can't do that. I, me, my, mine, those are very lonely words. Okay? We are the ones we've been waiting for. Chris Corsi, Mayor of Santa Rosa, please give a round of applause for a great leader who is my partner and our partner. Let's have some fun today.
Good morning, everybody. That's right, he said Mayor of Santa Rosa. It may sound a little dissonant at this event, which is the state of the county. But the state of the county right now is no business as usual. It has to be. James asked me to come here today to put a little exclamation point on that, to let you know that we're not going to do things the way they've always been done as we get through this very challenging time. The intent here for me is to let you know a little bit about how Santa Rosa is responding to the fire and what our recovery plans are in a very general way. But it's also to talk about the city's and the county's efforts to work together, our commitment to cooperate and collaborate as we go through this time. As James very eloquently said, we know that we're stronger when we work together. The city and the county have been doing that for several years on certain levels. The annexation of Roseland was a great example of that. Over the past year, we've been working on aligning up our homeless services. And now, more than ever, we need to work together in the aftermath of this fire. The events over the past few months have forever changed our community. When you look at the scope of the devastation, the loss of life, the emotional and physical tolls that these fires have taken, the destruction of 5% of Santa Rosa's housing stock, this situation can appear grim. But at the same time, this is what makes Santa Rosa and Sonoma County the great place, the special place that it is. Our residents and businesses, our nonprofits, our neighboring cities, elected leaders, and our great staff have shown their determination not only to recover from the disaster, but to seek opportunities to make a better future in this community. In the early days after the fire, both the city and the county took action to help ensure our fire survivors have an expedited path to rebuilding. In Santa Rosa, we opened our Resilient City Permit Center. We did that in late November. It's a separate department created exclusively for fire survivors who are rebuilding. And by lowering fees and by cutting our city's bureaucracy, we're seeing the initial residential rebuild permits turned around in a matter of days. We've created new tools and resources to help guide our residents and their contractors through the building process. As of yesterday, 1,700 people had visited our rebuild center at City Hall. We've had 1,200 phone calls. We're now about 16 weeks from the onset of the fires, and I'm encouraged to say that rebuilding is happening in Santa Rosa. 10 residential building permits have been approved. Many more are under review. There's a house that has risen in Coffey Park. This is just a small start to what's a monumental effort. But seeing those walls and windows of a new home go up in one of our devastated neighborhoods is a visual inspiration. And it says, we can and we will do this. Now, there's no doubt that our community is going to face struggles in the coming years. We're far from being out of the woods at this point. And every day, every time we solve one problem, it seems like another complication pops up. But as we deal with these complications, we also have to keep seeking out opportunities to keep moving forward as a community. As I tell our staff every day, we need to walk and we need to chew gum. In the days following the fires, the city and the county partnered effectively to put together a joint effort to aid our community through crisis. Now, we need to work together to build for the future. We don't want to get five years down the road, 2022, 2023, and celebrate that we are back to 2017. We need to move forward. And with that in mind, we've convened a committee of council members and supervisors and staff from not just our two governments, the city and the county, but from the Sonoma County Transportation Authority, the Regional Climate Protection Authority, the Metropolitan Transportation Commission, Sonoma Clean Power, and other agencies. We're calling it Build and Rebuild, BARB, for those of you who like acronyms, to emphasize that we need to keep our foot on the gas to build new housing at the same time we're helping people rebuild what's gone from the fires. This is critical work, but we need to do more. We had a housing shortage prior to the fire. Santa Rosa had implemented our housing action plan. The goal of that was to build 5,000 new units in 7 years. A year after we adopted that plan, we lost 3,000 units. Okay, so now the number is 8,000 for Santa Rosa. We need many thousands more countywide. These are daunting numbers. We know that. They can only be achieved through forward-thinking solutions and with participation across the region. This is not just a city problem. It's not just a county problem. It's all of our problem. We as leaders need to be bold right now. But we also need support from all of you, from our entire community if we're going to succeed. It's my hope that in the near future, you'll hear the city and the county leaders talking about innovative ways to join together to finance and facilitate exciting new development in downtown Santa Rosa. We believe our downtown, with its infrastructure, its access to transit, its many opportunities for green infill development, our downtown is the best place to make significant progress toward all of our housing goals. We envision mixed-use, mixed-income projects that leverage city and county property to not just build housing, but to enhance transit, bring jobs to our community, stimulate the local economy, and aid in the fiscal recovery of both the city and the county. We can't do this unless we're working together. Chair Gore and I believe that this is the time that demands real collective work for a big collective impact. And we invite all of you to join us. I know that this community has the resources, the brains, the will, and the grit to get this done. So are you with me? Let's get to work. Thank you.
I'm with you, Mayor. I'm with you. We were talking the other day, and there was this amazing quote that came up, or statistic. It said that with the loss of our housing stock, we are probably on just the affordability side 17,500 units behind where we need to be. Up until about 2013 and that kind of time frame, we were building 500 units a year in Sonoma County. And we have community separators, and we have easements, and we want to protect, and we will refuse to build and sprawl out into other areas. But we have some laudable goals, not just rebuild 5. I mean, come on. Don't want to scare you, but 20 plus, 30. There's people who are saying we're 90,000 units behind to be able to hold a workforce. Just a thought. Okay, so want to thank Dr. Jerry Nicklenberg for coming here. Jerry's been here for quite a few years. He's here to speak about this topic and our local economy. Jerry is the director of the UCLA Anderson Forecast. He's right over here. I'm going to talk about something about him. I'm trying to find something fun. I was like, come on, Jerry, give me something good. He says, ask Ben. And I said, what do you mean? You and Ben buddying up? Is that why you get this contract every year? Anyways, Jerry does an amazing job of going all around the state and the nation, accurately predicting many of our state's economic fluctuations. He's a native of Santa Rosa. Ladies and gentlemen, PhD Minnesota, faculty UCLA for the past 12 years. Warm Sonoma County welcome. Bring it on. Buddy, when he talked about correlation between higher taxes and growth, go, ugh. Can't say that in a group of politicians. As Linda likes to say, Linda Hopkins, correlation does not equal causation. Anecdote is not, or the plural of anecdote is not data. And what's a third? Absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, I think is how it goes. Thank you very much. I think what we're going to do right now is do a quick little change out. We're going to move this podium, have some folks come up and do some introductions. Take just a minute. Thank you. So going on our theme of really having the state of the county be about the true state of the county, the true unadulterated state of the county, not just what my vision in as the glorious chair of the Board of Supervisors, which is actually a great opportunity to work and empower my colleagues and all of you. This is where we get a lot of our community members, activists and others up to talk about where we were pre-fire, where we are now post-fire, and where we need to go. It's an awesome opportunity. I don't know if anybody announced it earlier. I did just see District Attorney Jill Ravitch. Thank you for being here today. I appreciate it. Round of applause for Jill. She's done an amazing job. I want to thank people who are running for office. I saw Ernie Oliveris, who's running for sheriff, and I also saw Mark Essick, who's running for sheriff. I want to thank you all for stepping up into public service. Round of applause, everybody. Takes a lot of gumption to do this. As I say with politics, you don't get yin without yang. You know, you get in, you have purpose, you have a desire to serve, and then you get a whole lot of other stuff thrown at you. So as one person put it pointedly, as she looked at me and Sunny Wright, I don't know if some of you know her, she was an amazing elected official for many years, and she said, I just want you to know something, young man. It's not thick skin, it's scar tissue. So let's talk a little bit about what we have going on in Sonoma County. This is our opportunity to talk about the collective impact from the side of nonprofits, from the side of all of our diversity, our tribal members, our governments, our sovereign nations coming together, from the private sector and from, once again, the issue of equity in our community, how we rise up and not have economic stratification create social stratification. It is an amazing opportunity. I want to introduce these people. Beth Brown, raise your hand. It says Elizabeth here. Most people call you Beth. She is the president and CEO of the Community Foundation for Sonoma County. Reno Franklin. Reno is the chair of the Kashaya Band of Pomo Indians. Also was very integral in creating something called the United Pomo Nations Council. Brings together different bands of the Pomo Nation from up and down a wide variety of counties. Reno's also a White House appointee on cultural resources from the last administration through to this administration. He's doing a great job for us. As he says, he was furloughed last week. Brett Martinez. Brett, we all know you. I think one of the reasons that we asked Brett to be up here is quite honestly because RCU is a great business in this community. Yes, you do the recovery fund, but there's certain people who step up into a leadership role, and we really think of you as a leader in the business community, and it's what's the integration going forward. In Anna Lugo, president of North Bay Organizing Project, one of the founders, co-founders in that first meeting about 3 days into the fires of UndocuFund, a great, smart activist on equity and in the right way, where we need to go, challenge us. I want to thank you. Finally, we have a moderator, Jim Mayer. Jim is a dear friend of mine. He's the executive director, president, chief operating officer, chief executive officer, president of the free world of something called California Forward. If you don't know, you should. It's something I'm addicted to. It was created during the recession. About 3 different organizations and foundations came together and focusing on what is the future, the nonpartisan future of California. Where do we need to be? They have led ballot initiatives that presented the top 2 tiers, that presented citizens redistricting, all kinds of stuff that have empowered regionalization, regional economies and budget, have been a great not just think tank, but do tank. They are the co-hosts of the California Economic Summit. I have been to that the last 3 or 4 years. A lot of the people in this room have participated in that. You're going to get a real good opportunity to participate in it coming later this year. We get to host the California Economic Summit, not just as Sonoma County, but what we want to do is host it as a region. Host it as the North Bay, understanding that not just fires show us that jurisdiction doesn't matter, that 4 to 5 counties can be impacted in one fell swoop, but also that our issues of housing, workforce, natural resources, especially water, have no interest in where we draw our lines. Okay? It's time to get things done. Jim, I want to pass it over to you. Let's have some fun. How about that for a state of the county? We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are all we have. And we got this if we do this. Some of you have heard me tell this story before. There's a woman, Dr. Lori, can't remember her last name. She presented to some of us recently. So call her Dr. Disaster. What was it? Lori Johnson. Lori Johnson, you ever want to see a book? She is a researcher, has done a report on 6 massive disasters and the research and how communities respond, which ones thrive, which ones dive, how it goes. She did this amazing presentation to a bunch of us one night. It was so full of research and methodology and empirical analysis and charts and schisms and other things, and it was very enlightening. And then at the end of the day, she finishes her presentation, and one of us raises a hand and says, "What's the one thing that you would advise outside of all this amazing data and research? What were the communities that rose out of catastrophe and disaster?" And she just was saying, the ones that stayed together. It is so simple. It is so difficult to get out of our silos because our silos aren't because of who we are. They are because of our missions. They are what we are driving towards, not what we are avoiding. We are too damn busy to do damn good work sometimes. We are too damn busy. We don't allow ourselves to have the time to be innovative. Right? This is our opportunity. This is just a small glimpse into what we can do, but this is just a little glimpse. There's a lot of work. Collective impact starts with collective responsibility, Anna. We got to own what we do. Leadership is about extreme ownership. Don't get to push off the things that you don't like. It's our time. We have a little video we're going to show you. We are Sonoma County. Then we're going to break up into our groups. We have 3 rooms out here that are labeled, focused on the 3 areas of the triple bottom line: productivity, sustainability, equity, and how we go forward as a part of that. What is coming before you and us this year? At the county, I want to tell you that on February 6th, we have a full-day housing summit from our side of how we build towards a recovery and a resilience plan. The next Tuesday on the 13th, we hammer into economic response, productivity, thriving economy out of this, and then we also explore a second workshop, which is watershed protection. What we have done, what we need to do to make sure Montecito doesn't happen up here this year, Santa Barbara doesn't happen, what happens next year. Then we're going to move into February 27th, I believe is the last one of the year. Or excuse me, the last one of that month. That is going to focus on infrastructure. That is how do we work with a partnership with PG&E, our service providers and others, to underground utilities if we can in appropriate areas, to look at the grid of the future. That is also what's the infrastructure of disaster response? Where are we at with the technology of emergency alerting systems and all these other things? That is also the infrastructure of how we push not just accountability on ourselves, but responsibility and accountability through our education with our community. The fact that we now live in a new normal, as Jerry Brown likes to say. The fact that as we recover from this catastrophe next year, it could be Windsor, and it could be Cloverdale, and it could be Rohnert Park, and it could be West County, and it could be the internal of Santa Rosa again. That is what we have to do. So when you go into these rooms later today, if you do so, Don't think that it's going to be figured out, that in 45 minutes to an hour you're going to have a facilitated session that's going to be perfect. God forbid. The only thing perfect from here forward is our imperfect, relentless progress, right? So take something out of today, make a commitment to yourself, right? And after we show this video, we're not going to get back up and yap anymore. We're going to let you go over, join this conversation if you'd like. If not, find another conversation that you need to have. But commit to something. And what I ask you and challenge you is commit to not going back. Retraction, aka atrophy, into Saturday's mentality and Saturday's problems will basically put the kibosh on all of that amazingness, right? Hold on to that fire that burnt us. Turn it into something good. Don't extinguish it. We have a video I think we're going to show, and I want to thank you all for being here today. Absolute pleasure.